From Piers Morgan pulling the most entitled rage quit with sore loser energy.
I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do
This is
this.
absolutely diabolical behavior.
To Rachel Ziegler making a fool of herself and mocking an iconic story.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Here are 7-time celebrities torched their careers with just one interview. Some bounced back, others weren't so lucky. Let's start with Piers.
I've walked into institutions as the only person of colour
Yeah.
and experienced covert and overt racism on so many occasions. And why the Meghan interview really resonates with me is because an ex-work colleague, not of this show, asked me if I was worried about the shade of cocoa that my son was going to come out.
Right.
Piers hates Meghan Markle. We get it. But when Alex called him out on GMB for his remarks against Meghan, let's just say Piers unleashed his inner drama queen.
And
By the way, I completely respect that, right? And that's why I wanted to get you on the program today. It was my suggestion to have you on to talk about this.
But Piers,
right?
and thank you so much for having me on the program. I really appreciate it. But I just want you also to be aware of the power of your words. And I'm not saying that you're a racist, but...
Uh-oh. Looks like the temperature's about to get pre-Yeti hot.
Well, what are you saying?
Do you know what I honestly feel? I feel as though because of your previous relationship with Meghan Markle, you've sometimes...
I didn't have a relationship with Meghan
But you met
Markle.
up with her, you knew her.
I knew her briefly,
All right, so we've
right?
joked about it on the show.
All that
you
did
got-
was
Piers.
So I'm allowed to speak.
Okay, talk.
All that did was inform me that she's a bit of a cut and run.
Right.
If we know Piers, it's always his way or the highway. But how dare Alex use logic on live TV and humiliate him with facts?
Right, throughout her life,
And-
all her family, her father,
Yes.
her ex-husband, her ex-friends,
Right,
they've all been cut out of her life, right?
And-
it's an interesting observation that I happen to be one of those
An
people.
interesting observation,
Let me-
but I
but-
do feel
Right, can I
in
finish
this
the sentence,
situation that
please?
you are
Okay,
struggling...
guys, if we're going to have this conversation...
You've got
if
to let me
you-
talk.
Man, it's like two bulls going head to head, both loud and stubborn.
It doesn't really matter what I think of Meghan Markle. It doesn't matter whether I believe her or not. What matters is the damage that she is accused of doing to the royal family.
This whole debate is straight up bizarre, and this commenter really nailed it, saying, "It's funny how Piers fights and defends the royal family like he's part of it." And honestly, same. What's even funnier, Alex going just as hard for Meghan and Harry like he's their long-lost cousin.
But
There's no
Piers,
right-
what
but-
you're saying is
but-
there are facts.
Right.
And what Alex is saying is there is an experience and a perception of those facts that you only appreciate when you're in that situation.
No, I'm sorry. On that second part, on the first part, I agree.
Seems like this debate's never gonna end, huh? But you know who's really fuming about not getting the last word? Piers.
You can't muck around with facts. She got the facts wrong on that. It's been demonstrated today in every paper that fact is simply untrue. There's been no discrimination against Archie in terms of being called a prince because of his skin colour.
Trouble is she's explaining her experience.
Exactly, she's explaining her experience of it, and do you know what? We've not walked in her shoes, so I
You
wouldn't...
can't- I don't care what your
know, but
experience
Piers,
is, if
she's
the facts you're
she's still-
basing it
you know
on
what,
is
you're
wrong.
still entitled to perception, you know.
Not about facts, you're not.
Alex clapped back at everything Piers threw, non-stop smoke, back and forth, till Piers realized he wasn't just losing, he was getting cooked. So what did he do? He hit the eject button.
But yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's
You
pathetic.
can trash me, maybe not my
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't
This
do
is
this.
absolutely diabolical behavior.
Piers' career was already doing the cha-cha down a spiral ever since he left CNN. But this left his rep in shambles. Speaking of CNN, let's not forget one of his final interviews there that practically lit the match for this whole dumpster fire.
You tweet very amusingly.
I wish you did. I mean, in the middle of the commercial break, I want your viewers to know, they must know because they're probably following you on Twitter. I mean, you can't even pay attention for 60 seconds. You're a terrible interviewer.
With growing criticism and tanking ratings, Piers was already nearing the end of his CNN run when he interviewed Chelsea Handler, and let's just say it didn't go too well.
Well, you just weren't keeping my attention. That's
Well,
more
but
an issue
that's
for you
not
than
my
me.
problem.
Well, it is your problem.
This is your show. You have to pay attention to the guests that you invited on your
If
show.
they're interesting enough.
Yeah, they are. Listen, it doesn't matter how interesting I am. You signed up for
Of course
this
it
job.
does.
Well, maybe that's why your job is coming to an end.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Don't want to cross you, do we?
I don't know. Do you?
Whoa, Chelsea's on fire, but the one really feeling the heat is Piers, no question.
What's the moment if I said to you, I can give you one moment back in your life to repeat right now? What would you choose?
It would be spending this hour differently.
Can't you try and be nice?
You know that laugh was fake. Chelsea absolutely ate Piers alive. Not long after, Piers dipped from CNN and switched back to British mode by joining Good Morning Britain, and we all know how that turned out. Sure, he keeps bouncing back, but the damage was real. But you know who just couldn't bounce back? MJ.
When you're talking about children, we met Gavin. And it was a great privilege to meet Gavin because he's had a lot of suffering in his life.
Yeah.
When Gavin was there, he talked about the fact that he shares your bedroom.
Yes.
Can you understand why people would worry about that?
In the 2003 documentary Living with Michael Jackson, all was smooth till Martin Bashir started throwing wild questions that MJ in a super sketchy light, especially around kids.
Because they're ignorant.
But is it really appropriate for a 44-year-old man to share a bedroom with a child who is not related to him at all?
That's a beautiful thing.
That's not a worrying thing?
Why should they be worrying? Who's the criminal? Who's Jack the Ripper in the room? This is a guy trying to help heal a child. I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor. I gave him the bed.
Now, Michael was known for adoring kids and taking them on magical trips to Neverland, his now infamous ranch that felt like a childhood dream. But Martin was about to flip that fairy tale.
Because he has a brother named Star. So him and Star took the bed, and I'm on the floor in the sleeping bag.
Did you ever sleep in the bed with them?
No. But I have slept in the bed with many children. I sleep in the bed with all of them. When Macaulay Culkin were little, Kieran Culkin would sleep on this side, Macaulay Culkin's on this side, his sister's in there. We're all just jamming the bed.
Is it just me, or does everything about this interview feel so dark? You're left stuck, never really knowing which side's the truth.
Then we wake up like dawn and go in a hot air balloon. You know, we have the footage. I have all that footage.
But is that right, Michael?
It's very right. It's very loving. That's what the world needs now. More love, more.
The world needs
heart.
a man who's 44 sleeping in a bed with children.
No, you're making it all wrong.
You know what? Not taking sides, but at this point, it feels less like an interview and more like a setup.
Well, tell me, help me.
Because what's wrong with sharing a love? You don't sleep with your kids or some other kid who needs love, who didn't have a good childhood?
No, I don't. I would never dream of sleeping.
I would.
I would never dream.
Because you've never been where I've been.
We all know Michael had a rough past, especially with his dad. According to him, showing love to others was his way of giving what he wished he'd gotten growing up.
That's fine.
What do you think their parents would say?
If they're wacky, they would say you can't. But if you're close family, like your family, you know them well, But
Michael, I wouldn't like my children to sleep in anybody else's bed.
Well, I wouldn't mind if I knew the person well.
Okay, real talk. You might not vibe with Michael at all, but the interviewer here, super shady.
And if I'm very close to Barry Gibb, Paris and Prince can stay with him anytime. My children sleep with other people all the time.
And you're happy with that?
I'm fine with it. They're honest. They're sweet people. They're not Jack the Ripper.
I suppose the problem for many people is what happened in 1993, or what didn't happen.
What didn't happen.
Just so you know, 1993 was the first time Michael faced allegations of being a predator, but he was never indicted.
What was that like when you first heard the allegations that were being made against you?
It was shocking, and I'm not allowed to talk about this by way of law.
No, but how did you feel about what was being said? I'm not asking you to talk about what was said.
I was shocked because God knows in my heart how much I adore children.
This interview straight up flipped Michael's image from the guy who loved kids to a monster. But like Macaulay Culkin said, he's not very good at explaining himself.
But isn't that precisely the problem? That when you actually invite children into your bed, you never know what's going to happen.
But when you say bed, you're thinking sexual. They make that sexual. It's not sexual. But we're going to sleep. I tuck them in. I put a little music on, and do a little storytelling. I read a book.
Oof, makes me shiver. This interview absolutely wrecked MJ's career and image, one he never truly recovered from. But this isn't the only time things went off the rails. Remember when Billy Bush and Trump's conversation got leaked in 2016?
She's your girl's hottest in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa! I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the
you? As you'd expect, the backlash was straight up savage, leading to Billy's suspension and eventual exit from NBC's Today Show. But trust me, this doesn't even come close to the controversy Prince Andrew stirred up.
Because during that time, those few days, witnesses say they saw many young girls coming and going at the time. There is video footage of Epstein accompanied by young girls.
This 2019 BBC interview was straight up chaotic, not just because of Prince Andrew's sketchy Epstein connection, but because he showed zero empathy and no freaking accountability.
I mean, if they were, then I wasn't a party to any of that.
The only thing we got from that, buddy, is that you definitely don't have an explanation.
What they were doing and why they were there, I had nothing to do with. So I'm afraid I can't make any comment on that because I really don't know.
Wow, just wow. Imagine being that close and either knowing nothing or straight up brushing it off like, so what? I didn't do it. Like, sir, that's not the flex you think it is.
Another guest was John Brockman, the literary agent. Now, he described seeing you there getting a foot massage from a young Russian woman. Did that happen?
No.
He's talking about a foot massage. F-O-O-T. You have those, or do you not know if they exist either?
Do you regret that trip?
Yes.
Do you regret the whole friendship with Epstein?
Now, still not.
The lessons on how to be okay, got it.
July of this year, Epstein was arrested on charges of sex trafficking and abusing dozens of underage girls. One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts, has made allegations against you.
Wait, what now, Andrew? Honestly, his face screams guilty.
She says she met you in 2001. She says she dined with you, danced with you at Tramp nightclub in London. She went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response?
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
Honestly, Andrew should have just skipped that interview. All it did was make everyone come for him harder.
The world has now seen the photo that Virginia Roberts provided, taken by Epstein, we understand, in Ghislaine Maxwell's house.
Well, here's the problem. I've never seen Epstein with a camera in my life.
Thanks to his denial, his already trashed image got obliterated, forcing him to step down from his public duties. Bizarre, right? Speaking of bizarre, Joaquin Phoenix's interview is also on a whole different level.
You know, it's been 3 years since the last time you were on the show, and I will just say right off the top here, you look different than I remember you. You've got a nice beard going, and
oh yeah, thank you.
How is that, the beard?
In what way?
Well, is it comfortable? Is it itchy? Is it?
It's 2009, and Joaquin Phoenix is on The Late Show with David Letterman. The only problem is, he looks and sounds a bit off.
I'm okay with it, but now you're making me feel weird about it.
I'm sorry, I'm making you feel weird about it?
Is there something wrong?
I can't be the first one to make you feel weird about it.
No, I guess not.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Is it you do a lot of this?
That's just a nervous tick, I think.
Oh, just a nervous tick. You know, I saw this.
Dave definitely isn't vibing with Joaquin's whole thing, but what he doesn't know is that this thing is about to get on his nerves.
And you were terrific in the film. I really enjoyed your work.
Thank you.
Man, dude's face keeps giving major "I'm over life" or "I'm low-key plotting 100 ways to kill Dave" vibes.
Well, I'd love to come on the show and perform.
Yeah.
When it's on.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it, you know, it's,
You know, that seems unlikely. I'm just kidding.
See what I mean?
I've seen some of the other guests.
I know,
dude.
no,
I mean,
you're
I
right,
can't
sure.
believe-
Okay, well, we'll certainly keep you in our Rolodex.
Even Dave seems to be hiding his anger behind a smile now. Come on, Joaquin, look alive.
I don't know. I mean,
I think it might say that in the opening credits.
Oh, does it say that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie.
Haven't seen the film yet, yeah. What a surprise.
Poor Dave, he might just get an aneurysm if this interview doesn't end anytime soon.
And Joaquin, I'm sorry you couldn't be here tonight.
He's funny, you're funny. He's a funny dude.
Finally, the dude cracked a smile.
Thank you very much, and good luck in your new career. I hope that goes well for you.
However, this interview sparked a massive discussion about the actor's mental health. Little did anyone know, this was simply a brilliant performance for a mockumentary. I'm Still Here. The dude sure can act, but you know who can't act rationally in public, let alone a movie? Rachel Zegler.
Crying on that stage.
When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Why were you crying?
Oh my gosh, I saw the well, we didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out.
Ever since Disney signed Rachel Zegler for Snow White, it's been a straight up nightmare. Not because she's an entitled brat, but because of her extra and unnecessary woke energy.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937.
Wait, did she just throw shade at the original Snow White? Yep. And here comes Gal trying to save the day.
That is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
Oh, Rachel. The idea is fine, but trashing a childhood fairy tale character? Not cool, and honestly, this isn't the only bad thing she said about the original.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Interesting. Well, let's see how that worked out, huh? Yep, totally worked. To be fair, people were way more enraged by Zegler's comments than the actual movie. And the results, well, you know, they've been brutal. So if you like this video about celebs ruining their careers thanks to bizarre interviews, you'll definitely love the next one. Click here to watch.